the mind of the king is to understand the cultures of the kingdom. Because cultures are revelations of lifestyles. Cultures are manifestations of nature. If I bring a baboon to live with us on this campus, there are many things we can teach the baboon. For example, you can tell the baboon if you wake up in the morning, brush. You can tell the baboon to be clothed, and the baboon will be well clothed. In fact, the baboon can even get to a point where it can merge colors and have a very perfect combination. But the moment you provoke that baboon, maybe the first thing it will do is to tear the cloth. Because it is not an offshoot of his nature. It is something you are comparing him to do. So that is not consistent with his personality. But when we talk cultures in the kingdom, we are talking about a people that have become the reflectors of the nature of the one that designed them. So when a believer becomes a manifestor of the possibilities that are in the heart of God, the first way you see that believer are the cultures that characterizes his living. You see, that was the crisis of the people in the Old Testament. For 1,500 years, they were given laws to live by. But the nature of God had not been encrypted in their spiritual DNA. So it was impossible for them to give expression to laws that were revelations of the dimensions of heaven. What they did not understand is that those laws they were given to demonstrate to live by were actually the civilizations of heaven. When you say live righteously, you are not saying live according to certain tenets or laws. When you say live righteously, you are telling him to become a citizen of Zion. Because in Zion, righteousness is a nature. So when you demonstrate righteousness as a culture on earth, it's actually a proof that you are living on earth, but you are no longer a citizen of earth. You have become an ambassador of another world. So when we look at you, we know that you are part of this context, but your reality comes from afar. Because those cultures is a revelation that you are not part of us. It's a sign that your life is an effulgence of a possibility that emanates from another dimension. So cultures are parameters that we look at and hold very strongly if we will keep the mind of the king expressed perpetually in our context. The world is losing capacity to demonstrate the will of God because the cultures of heaven are no longer a lifestyle. If you take a look at your life very quickly, you'll be amazed. I told them in BSU when I was teaching a few weeks ago, I said you have many lecturers, over 100 lecturers on your 900, teaching us that people carry overs every time. Many are having years. And when I walked on the campus, I did not see any lecturer teaching dress code. No lecturer giving the responsibility of teaching the doctrine of Babylon. There was no lecturer teaching the ways of Wardom. But if you look at the campus on a glance, then you discover that everybody is a student in the school of Babylon. Most of the students have many lecturers that teach them the ways of seduction because it had become a lifestyle consistent with the serpentine nature. So even though there were no courses they were reading, those dimensions could find expression through them. So you don't need to go and study lust. You don't need to go and study about seduction. When you look at them, the spirit of seduction can travel into your heart because those ones have become gateways by which the dimensions of ladies can find expression. The powers of culture is something you cannot undermine. Because when you see a man live by a certain culture, that man's life is a gate through which the realm that he manifests can break upon the landscape. That's why you see a lady dressed seductively and you begin to have lust. Unknown to the lady, she's actually giving expression to a government in another realm. So every time you interface with that lady, the spirits that live in that realm, they travel through her. You don't need to study how to find those spirits. You don't need to go to her to look for the spirit of immorality. When you look at an immoral lady, her life is a vent, a chamber through which the dimensions of immorality can be trafficked. So she's a chalice. She's a carrier of immoral demons. Cultures are very significant because only by culture can the will of God and the spirit of the monarch of Zion invade the territory. When we talk matters of culture, we are not going back to the law. We are actually talking about the true manifestation of the spirit of grace. Because when grace comes, it does not only bring salvation, it teaches us the ways of the kingdom. There are certain things I want to emphasize. I don't know if you can receive it. Because many may think we are becoming legalistic. This is not legalism. This is proof that the Spirit dwells in you. Jesus said that word cometh to me and findeth nothing. How demons and spirits connect to people. They connect to people through their predominant appetites. The Bible said we have not received the spirit that is of this world, but we have received the Spirit that is of God. Therefore, we know the things that are freely given to us by God. So on the strength of the Spirit of God that is at work in us, it is possible for us to know the dimensions of the Spirit. The ways of God are no longer scarce because there is a Spirit we have received. But he went to 1 John chapter 2 from verse 15. He said, love not the world. He said, they that love the Lord, the love of the Father is not in them. He said, what is in the world? He said, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life. Therefore, those tendencies within, that person is already a carrier of the spirit of this world. If lust finds expression through you, you are what? A carrier of the spirit of this world. You don't need to go far to check. And the proof of it is that all your actions will be controlled and regulated by lust. That's why the guy wants to drive a car, because he wants to make a statement. That's why the guy dresses, because he wants to make a statement. He is powered by lust. So his lifestyle is a reflection of his appetite. And his appetite is a gateway through which his spirit can break into his world. Unknown to him, he's the one changing the energy balance in the system. Because every time you bring a spirit into a territory, you have altered the energy balance. The reason you enter some territory, it is easy for you to fall into immorality is because the energy balance has been lifted. The threshold of immorality is high. So when you were at home, you didn't have lust all the time, but you came on campus and all of a sudden every night you feel like cleaving to somebody. There is a balance. The energy balance has been violated. It's a revelation of appetites and the predominant culture in the system. You get to certain places, it's easy to slap and to kill because violence through their lifestyle have been conducted into that territory so much. So the energy of violence is high. So you come there, the least provocation, you take an action. What you don't know is that the culture of those people have tracked an energy that have altered the balances. That part of culture is something you cannot overemphasize. It's a revelation of the will, the mind of the spirit that rules over the territory. That's why Miles Monroe of blessed memory, he defined the kingdom as a predominant influence of a king over a people, creating a citizenry of people that give expression to his will as their natural lifestyle. So when the Holy Ghost begins to work in you, the dimensions of heaven become your lifestyle. So what we want to x-ray tonight are some of the realities that are the predominant, manifested, expressed dimensions, characters that are in the heavens. So that if they look at you, they will not know whether you are on earth. Jesus said, the Son of Man which is in heaven, he was walking in Galilee. Paul said, we have been named into the family that is both in heaven and on earth. Because when you look at a man who lives the lifestyle of heaven, it's not different from an angel. If an angel worships God in spirit and in truth, that man also worships in spirit and in truth. Obeys God perpetually, that man also obeys God perpetually. So in heaven he can stand with the ranking immortals as one of them. That was why when John went to heaven, there was no segregation. He showed up, he was among the 24 elders because he was in their rank. By reason of who he is on earth, when the heavens open, you don't need to introduce him. That is his family. He has always been part of them. He resembles them, he looks like them. When he saw the glories of heaven, it was so much he wanted to bow down. The guy said, no, worship me not. I am your fellow brethren. The problem is that we are in different locations, but we are the same. When you check me out and you check yourself, the DNA is one, the lifestyle is the same. That's why the things that happen in heaven happen around your life. It is that lifestyle that makes it possible for this man to touch the sick and the sick is healed, because something flows through them. Something flows. It's not doing try and error. Try to say pray like this or come out. When he shows up, demons leave, because he is an ambassador of a realm. It's the power of a kingdom. Many Christians are not taught. Oh, we come to church because we are religious people. We don't understand what is happening. God is building a world. God is building a kingdom. That kingdom is already established in the spirit realm. He wants to bet it in the natural. And you and I are his laborers. So what you are doing, but the Holy Ghost is inspiring you to do, that you think you are just living a good life. Maybe it's the window of the New Jerusalem you are building. You don't know you are part of the mercenaries that are building an invisible kingdom in the natural. When the Holy Ghost comes and says, Kai, Peter, go this way, and then you demonstrate the lifestyle of God. Somebody slaps you, you wanted to respond, they say, calm. You are a proof that God is patient and long suffering. Everybody sees the lady, they fall. The lady comes before you and strip herself naked. You say, sister, this is a shame. It's a proof that God is a righteous God. So what we call lifestyle are predominant revelation of the dimensions of God. It's when the New Jerusalem that you will know that what you were doing that you thought was a lifestyle, you were actually building part of that system. The Bible said concerning the 12 apostles, he said they were written on the 12 pillars of the New Jerusalem. So the life they live were pillars. They thought they were living. Meanwhile, the world God was building, they are the pillars that we supported. So their lives were pillars in Zion. Maybe your own life is a window, yours may be a roof. You don't know, and you are playing with it. Kamalakara Satash.